The FBI also raided his house, but only to see if he had a copy of Sex Boat. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. No choice but to get on. Mandate you get it on. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling a friend. We love that about you, right, Gina Grad?
That's right.
Handball, Brian. I'm thinking about food because I'm awake. All right. God, Linda Hamilton. Just not thinking about food.
No.
Nice.
Not her thing.
All right. We got Dawson's mashup that he'd spent some time on.
Did he burn the midnight oil on this?
Yes, he burnt something. I think it was resins in a bong, but either way.
A little shaken seed?
He got it done. Yeah. Does anyone scrape for resins anymore, Dawson?
No.
Okay.
Not when
weed is too readily available.
Right. It's like the Gap.
You know what? We should work out is the story. There's the story that the dad tells the son, I had to walk in snow to school every day. It was uphill both directions. Our car, you had to get out and, chisel the ice off the windshield and shovel the driveway. A lot of things based around snow.
Yeah. There was no snow days. We went either way.
Right. There's a lot of rub some dirt on it. There needs to be a stoner version of that, Dawson. You need to put it together. I will bequeath it to you in your comedy act.
Little dude, when I was your age.
You couldn't go to any corner and get edibles. I'm walking through the streets of Manhattan. They're selling edibles off a truck parked next to the falafel guy.
Yeah.
We had to go to the park. You had to know somebody. You
Get
had
in somebody's car.
You had to deal. To deal with dicey characters.
Pretend to be friends with an asshole.
Right.
Right. Then you'd open up any double live album you had, and you'd spend all night getting the shake and the seed separated from the leaf. Forget about the bud. No bud. And then you'd have to scrape for resins. I mean, there's a tale of woe involving old-timer weed versus what's going now you just get an app and the guy brings the dope over to the house.
In public, out in the open.
Right.
And how many tokes to actually get high?
Oh, man.
You'd be smoking that shit, burning your throat all night.
Yes.
Seeds popping inside your joint.
Oh,
That's
your
right.
dad was blinded temporarily by a seed that popped inside a six-shooter.
My mom still wants to know where all the filters on the sink are, on the faucet.
Yes, the screens.
Yep.
You had to have screens. It was a way of life. Bongs were, 3 foot tall and 4 inches wide, or 1 3/4 wide at the bottom. They toppled over. There was bong water
There was no
everywhere.
dabbing.
Brian might remember this. There was a plastics store in the Bay Area called Tap Plastics, and they should have called it Bongs R Us.
Yeah,
Right.
I think you asked to leave if you suggested it be used for anything other than tobacco smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have your celebrity-endorsed water pipes. We had to use apples and tinfoil.
Potatoes.
And your dad smoked a metric ton of hashish out of a toilet paper roll. Imagine the indignity of sucking on a toilet. Go fish it out from the trash can, get the toilet paper roll, make a little hole, use the foil to clog off one end, make the bowl. And now I have Alzheimer's. I can't even remember when I smoked. I smoked out of so much tin foil.
This is 18 inches away from someone's ass for the last 2 months.
That's right. Now here's Dad putting his lips on it and sucking away. Yeah, there's a whole tale of woe involving weed.
You had to make a gravity bong out of a 2-liter. You cut the bottom and then you submerge it in the sink.
Smoked out of apples. Smoked out of everything.
Yeah.
Couldn't do the N-word lip anymore. That ain't gonna fly. Roaches. What do you guys need roaches for? You have an abundant amount of weed. We had to go to the ashtray, get the roaches.
They're vaping now.
Oh my God.
They don't even know what a roach clip's for.
I think that
What's smoke?
I think that would be the East Coast old dad version. The West Coast old dad version versus the shoveling the snow old dad version with the kids.
Well done.
All right.
It's the Marin County version.
Flesh that out, Dawson. So I was, somebody tweeted me a scene from The Sting, the movie. I was talking about that with Robert Redford. And let's not forget Robert Shaw from The Deep, and what a great just the greatest heavy of all time. Just he didn't say much. He did a lot with his eyes, and he spoke in this very undertoned kind of way, but it was super scary. He died early. He was one of the best character actors we had. He was in Jaws. He was in, I think, The Deep. He was with Nick Nolte. He was in The Sting. He'd done a million things, but
he was a legendary drunk. The famous Indianapolis speech. He did the take you saw was not the first take. The first take, he was so drunk after drinking all day that he slurred his way through the speech and he fucked it all up. And the next day, as legend goes, he apologized to Steven Spielberg and said, "I can do that a lot better now that I'm sober." And that's the take we all know.
I'd like to see the first.
I'll
take.
handle the eulogy here, Brian. Your words are stirring.
He's a flawed man. I think enough time has passed.
But, he's been gone since the
78?
70? Really? No, he didn't die in 78.
Okay.
Could
I'm
he
looking
have?
at
Yeah, he did.
Robert Shaw,
78?
27 to 78.
Wow, I'm shocked.
Whoa, what year was The Deep? 77?
Wait, he was 51?
77.
Oh, so
Yeah.
he shot The Deep and then he died.
Yeah.
That crusty old sea captain was in his 40s?
Apparently.
Oh, that's an interesting, that in our never-ending, oh my God, I'm older than Captain Steubing was in season 1 of The Love Boat.
Well, he was born in 27. Jaws came out in 75. He would have been 48-ish, 47.
No, he'd been younger, right?
27 to...
Oh, 27. Yeah. Sorry, you're right. Yeah, either way, younger than I.
That's crazy.
So I was looking at this scene, and there's this character actor that's in the back of the scene.
Yeah.
Who's
It was like a Dick Tracy character.
Yes, he was in everything. I told you guys there was a handful of character actors. They always played bikers, but sometimes there was a group of bikers. There were 7 guys. They were every biker in every movie and every sitcom, and there's basically fat guys with beards before there was a lot of fat guys with beards. And then there was 7 guys who played the mafioso guys. And there was the guys with the bent noses who looked good in a fedora and would say, "Hey, boss."
Square jaw.
They always had a chiseled chin and a bent nose, and they got a little acting in. But the reason I took note of this one particular actor, and maybe we can turn this into a game at some point. I don't know. Do we have the clip? You'll see the guy now.
Early in the film when they're playing poker. And,
yes. The
tables are turned.
I mistook him
the hook.
for another famous actor. But go ahead. Sorry. He's the guy in the back with the bent nose.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Looking at his cards.
Stand by.
That's all right.
And look at the scene has any dialogue anyway.
Yeah. He's just that guy. All right.
Pinstripe suit.
Yeah. All right. We get it. So I thought he was an actor named Charles. Chris has it. No, I thought he was an actor named Dick or Robert something, Backlund, if I'm saying that correctly. All right. I don't know. We'll try to figure our screen out here, Chris. Either way, he looked just like this other character actor who was in many, many films. So I did a little research last night for Charles. Is it on my screen there, Chris? The other name I gave you before that.
Yeah, it's Richard right here. This one?
No, Charles. Oh, Charles, yeah, sorry. Charles DeCrop. So Charles DeCrop and Richard Backlund were about the same age. They worked in Hollywood a ton. And I thought it was the same dude, but it's two different dudes. And we'll see if we have a picture of the two. But either way, I went and
yeah, a very specific nose. Like what is that? A coke habit or a boxing match?
They've been in a scrap or
it's
two.
like a boxing thing with a sharp chin and kind of diminutive guy. And I always just thought it was the same dude.
Reasonable.
Because they're about the same age and they look the same. 2 different dudes who would do a lot of mafioso stuff and that henchman stuff.
Gangster types.
And then I thought, wait a minute. I have studied the film much more than The Sting. I have studied the film HOTS, which is an acronym.
Right. What does it stand for?
Hold on to sex. And that starred Danny Bonaducci and a bear and a lot of playmates who took their tops off.
Right.
And they had a strip football scene at the end where Bonaducci was doing the call and all kinds of stuff. And I thought,
how's the bear doing?
Long dead.
I got down to the bottom. The bear was credited on the IMDb at the bottom of Hots.
Of course.
Now, the thing I like is the bear's name in the movie was Sugar Bear, but the bear's real name was Honey Bear.
Oh.
And I was like, why not just leave it?
Yeah.
Yeah, for nothing else, for safety's sake, the bears used to being called Honey Bear. Just keep going.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, credited as Sugar Bear or the other way around. I can't recall.
It's
but
important.
either way. So I was looking at this guy and I was like, wait a minute. You did The Sting and then you did Hots.
In that order?
Like that's in your career. But I started looking and I realized, oh no, it wasn't this guy. It was another guy who looks just like this guy. And then it got better. Because in 1974, Dick Bacallan, who's also Richard Bacallan. No.
I don't know which is which now.
This is now it's getting very confusing.
Sorry.
This is Charles from The Sting. The guy who I recognized who's on the right.
Other guy who goes by Dick and or Richard Bacallan. He was not in The Sting. He was in Chinatown. Oh wow, another throwback.
He had a role as a detective in Chinatown.
But was he also in Porky's?
We're looking at a picture of not him from Chinatown.
Is that Jack Nicholson?
That is Jack
Yes,
Nicholson.
yeah.
Is that J.J. Giddies?
Well, young Ben, he doesn't know. But either way, he went from in 1974 being in Chinatown, one of the most iconic movies of the last 50 years, to Hots in a that's the same decade. That's 74 to 79. He's in Hots.
Was it a leading role in Hots?
Was substantial. It wasn't a 5 and under.
Would his agent consider it like a step up for him specifically?
These guys were just character actors who just worked. They did not do the kind of vetting that we do today.
Yeah, they're not fielding multiple offers and saying this is not for me.
No, and so when you go down these guys' IMDb, they have The Sting, and then 4 years later, they have Disney's The Barefoot Executive, or whatever, the computer that laid golden eggs, or the mule that kicked field goals. But they're going from the set of The Sting.
Yeah,
you're sitting in a room shooting all day with A-list celebrities to standing next to Don Knotts and a mule
and a sheepdog.
That was just your job.
Wow.
That's just how it worked back then.
And a weird coincidence. I don't know if this is the Great Magnet or not. I was also doing some light research on The Sting last night, and not about this guy, obviously, but you were a little young for The Sting. You were like 9-ish when it came out. Were you aware of just the phenomenon that The Sting was? It's like, adjusted for inflation, it's like we're in the top 20 all-time grossing films. Obviously of the year, but of all time, it was made it would be an equivalent of $900 million today.
It had The Entertainers, the song, right? A lot of it, not a lot of it, but the song, it was almost Rocky-esque before Rocky, and that the song really played heavily on it. We even did a school play in the 6th grade because that song has lyrics.
It does?
Yeah, the entertainer, the star of the show. And there was a dancing bear named Sugar Bear, even a dog act there, and a comedian who never let him down. But when they came on to do the favorite song, he really wowed him in the cities and the crowd. Or somebody put lyrics to it. I don't know. It was kind of MASH-esque that there was a song, and then later on you went, oh, there's lyrics to that song. Scott Joplin.
And anecdotally, you're absolutely right, because my parents had the vinyl soundtrack to The Sting.
And I played in the school play The Comedian, which may have burnt into my psyche somewhere, but there was no dialogue. I just came out and went, I'm a comedian, blah, 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 blah.
Do you know who wrote, speaking of fun trivia and songs, do you know who wrote the lyrics of the song MASH, the lyrics to the
His
theme
son.
Song? Yeah, Robert Altman's son. Who was a
really?
kid. He was
His
like
teenager.
12 or 14
Yeah.
or something.
Wow.
Suicide is painless.
Suicide is painless. And
Yeah.
that song is sung in the movie. Of course, it's just the instrumental in the TV show.
Yeah.
All right, so there are no lyrics in the original piano piece.
Your
Right.
teacher
And
made
then,
those up.
But during the ragtime revival of the 70s, Milton Berle did a version of the piece on the Muppets.
Oh, there we
And
go.
that's where the lyrics were.
The entertainer, and there was a dancing bear and a dog
even
act
a dancing bear and
Yeah,
a comedian who never lets you
that's-
down. Yeah.
there. Yep. I was that comedian.
Wow, never let him down.
Well, I've disappointed a few since the 6th grade, to be sure. So yeah, it was. They had the song, and then someone lyricized it at some point. Speaking of songs, Dawson has gotten his Olivia Newton-John song mashed up with the great Bobby Hollander. Two greats who'll be missed.
Yeah.
I think we can
Finally
safely
come
say.
together.
On equal playing field.
Yeah, and I don't know if we're going to see their likes again.
Yeah. Nice.
Dawson, nice work.
Nice. I like how he starts out coy, like, that's a new thing in home entertainment. Wink, wink. And then goes right into, it's access porn. It's going to make you come when you scream.
I forgot it ran through my head yesterday when we were talking about Olivia Newton-John. She had that whole story where her husband went missing.
Yeah.
Like fishing off the coast of Baja. Does that sound
But
familiar?
yeah, he like staged his death.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a crazy story that didn't get brought up in a lot of the eulogies I
It's for the
saw.
best.
But I never really got to the bottom of it, but she married some guy a little later on in life. He went out fishing and kind of faked his death, I guess. And I don't know what became of him or how it worked.
He was found in Mexico 12 years later.
This is kind of crazy, right?
Yeah.
Play poker?
Was that her ex?
Her boyfriend at the time. That's what I'm seeing here.
The other thing, speaking of ladies who sing, I was watching a doc on Shania Twain.
Oh, I love her.
Yeah, forget how.
Let's go, girls.
Forget how hot she is.
Yeah.
And what a craze. She had 3 diamond records in a row.
Yeah.
Like sold.
She was massive.
90s pop country royalty.
Sold 100 million records or something. Like, I mean,
Ruined country music.
Insane. Absolutely insane. You know, grew up kind of in poverty.
Yeah.
Was a big Dolly fan.
She sang Coat of Many Colors on Oprah to Dolly and almost couldn't get through it because they have very similar stories.
You know, married Mutt Lange, the rock and roll producer. And another crazy relationship story, Mutt took off with her best friend after being married and married her. And then she married the husband of the best friend, Shania did.
That'll show him.
Yeah, there's a part of me that kind of goes, what are the chances you're that attracted to this dude who was the husband of kind of the nobody friend of yours?
2 words, trauma bond. They both kind of know what the other was going through.
Rubbed someone's ankle yesterday.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a good icy hot patch you put on the small of your back.
Right.
Trauma bond. Hi, I'm Shaquille O'Neal. So she married that guy.
Right.
My buddy Ray, his mom and his dad went down the same road.
Really?
Yeah, the dad took off with the best friend's wife, and the mom ended up hooking up with the other guy.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's in a much more, yeah.
Come on, let's fuck our friends' husbands.
In a much darker sort of example of that, we have Hunter Biden.
Oh, yeah.
It's tough stuff.
Yeah, the brother died, and he stepped in and started in with the
wife,
widow.
the widow.
Yeah.
My brother's listening right now. I have a message. Give me a second.
So that
Keep
was
your
a
damn hands off my wife.
that was a crazy story, and then it made me start thinking. Now it's always the same thing, and I don't know where you guys land on this, but I would be curious if you had Dawson. You can chime in here as well. Shania was as big gets, playing arenas all over the world. Every records would sell millions of units, and She was a smoke show.
A true phenomenon.
True phenomenon. And, she could sing, she could write songs, she could play, she could do everything. Now, and I don't know what Shania is now, 51 or whatever, but there's they're interviewing her, and she's put on a couple pounds, not fat, she's just not that thing from the videos that we remember from 25 years ago.
Dare she be a middle-aged woman?
Yeah. 56.
Good for her.
Okay. She looks good for a 56-year-old woman, but she's not the 28-year-old version of herself. She's playing, she's writing, write every day. And I was kind of watching the same with I watched a doc on Sheryl Crow where she's like, I'm still writing, I'm still coming out with albums, whatever. Now, obviously, if Shania Twain drops an album tomorrow, I don't know what it'll do.
Probably won't notice.
We'll probably not be aware of it. That's how you can tell. You go back and you look at these people. Oh, she came out with a whole album in 2020 or whatever it is. But no spins, no airtime, no MTV, no big sales, no anything. And then you go, in her world, is she just, I write songs? Is she, this is the next one? Like, I'm going to get back to arenas. Like, I'm going to get the pop. It's just around the corner. Is there some sort of realization? And then there's a kind of deal with the devil, which is if you're cutting all kinds of videos with you wearing belly shirts and looking smoking hot, and now you're a middle-aged woman, well, that was a big part of the sales. Yeah. And if you'd covered up, would it be different? I feel like there's versions of singer-songwriter females who never really went down that road. I'd go down that road too if I looked like that. I get it. That's what everyone tells you to wear and do. Her last album was released in 2017. So says Chris.
Yeah, it went platinum too.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
All right. Well, forget.
Good for her.
I wonder how many units, though. Anyway, you're never going to sell what you sold. And same Sheryl Crow's like in the same boat. And then I was thinking, is this good? Do we want this? Or would you rather be that person, someone like John Hyde, you've never sold out an arena. You just write songs. You're respected. You sell songs. People record your songs. And you just sort of play.
Fly under the radar a bit.
Yeah, but you're not looking in your rearview mirror at crazy success.
The whims of
You've always played... You've essentially played the same 230,000 copies were sold in the U.S. in the first year. That's good enough to get you platinum these days, huh? Versus
maybe in platinum Canada.
34 million.
Yeah, she did really good in Canada.
She's Canadian.
Oh, okay. Canadian platinum is that?
It might be Canadian.
That's like the Canadian Football League. Who cares?
That would be extremely likely. She's royalty in Canada.
Yeah, certified musical platinum royalty in Canada.
Oh, that's what was confusing because platinum out here would have been not bad. So then I was kind of thinking, like, are you always chasing it? Do you have regrets? Would you rather just be the singer-songwriter and, you play the same size venues now as you played 15 or 20 years ago, or thoughts?
Are you asking if individually what we'd prefer, or if in general what we think is better from afar?
Individually, let's see.
I'd be interested in Dawson's perspective because he's a country music fan like Gina and I, especially of the 90s and that era. And my personal hunch and belief is that Shania knows she was given a lottery ticket, knows she opened a candy bar and got that golden ticket, and Mutt Lange how much success did she have before Mutt Lange came into her life? How much success did she have after? Like she
well, that's another thing, which is you got to live with that. The guy who dumped you for your best friend may have been the only reason you had this explosive success.
100% the only reason. We can just look at the track record before and after. Like, she was a phenomenon because a musical genius took her under his wing and said, "I'm going to make you the biggest thing in the world."
Well, she'd been at it since she was like 9.
That's my point.
Her mom would take her to bars and perform.
Right.
She was
late night.
She was. I had never heard of her before. Big explosive.
No, but she was ascending. She was ascending, and she was like 26 or something like that. he definitely was impactful, but we don't. She also showed up right at the right time. She did a hot country video. It got some spins. He saw the video and went, I want to work with her. I don't think she would have had what she had minus Mutt Lange, but she could have hooked up with another huge
That's true.
Producer and come up with big stuff and not had to marry him.
Right.
I don't know.
Like Celine.
The other thing that's weird is Mutt's hair. He has my least favorite hair, which is the long shag,
Feathered
the
kinda,
weird shag. New dude has the same long shag, and I'm wondering, is that her thing? Is that a Canadian shag thing?
The Canadian shag.
I know the picture you're talking about because Mutt Lange is notoriously reclusive, and they always showed the same headshot, looking like this with the hair from, I'm assuming 1989.
Yes.
It's the picture.
This is not.
The black and white headshot.
There's a little more curly Q in Mutt Lange's older look, which her new guy has. Well, anyway, Dawson, would you rather sell arenas and now be 20 years on or 15 years on and be trying to write songs and get back there? Or would you rather just have slow and steady?
I think everybody wants to achieve that superstardom. And once you have that, you can look back at it fondly. I think everyone understands the evolution of the rock star or the de-evolution. And you're no longer playing the Enormo Dome. But if you can reach back and say, well, I did that. I'm comfortable with my career. Now I just, make a living off of.
Now you got to add the ex-husband who ran away with your best friend as being cited as the only
not
reason.
As respected in the rock and roll world as we may think.
And
a lot of people really do not like the guy.
Oh, interesting. See, I was going to say exactly what Dawson said, and take it a step further. It all totally depends on an individual's ego. Because if you can look back and be like, I fucking did that. And I'm still a musician and I grabbed the brass ring and now I'm doing my thing and I'm cool. But we have all seen people, we've interviewed people, we've known about people who that shit, it was like the rug got pulled out from under them and they never recovered.
I was thinking, or Dawson made me think of it because I was thinking about it the other day because I was singing Big Bottoms and I was thinking about Spinal Tap. But one of my favorite just sort of quiet moments of that movie is when they ran into the other guy in the hotel lobby. I think it was Howard Hessman. And he's like, where are you guys playing? And it's like, the Enormo Dome somewhere. And then at some point he was like, I like to talk, but we got to wait for the car.
Go stand over here.
You have to stand 4 feet closer to the door. I just loved it.
I watched that movie the other night. And
I loved it. I love it how that guy, whoever he was, the Billy Idol white hot guy, was nothing. They had to apologize for him.
Billy Idol's a good example you're talking about.
Yes.
And I've seen him at the smaller shows, more recently, and seems to be having a great time.
Yeah.
One of the great throwaway lines is when they're talking about the album cover for Smell the Glove. And David says, well, we're not saying she should be forced to smell it. Well, yes, but not over and over.
You know what I watched the other night, which has great music?
The glove.
Mighty Wind.
Oh, yeah.
Such a good soundtrack. It is. And like, fucking, what's her name?
Catherine O'Hara?
Thank you. Playing the zither.
Yes.
I mean, they're all so accomplished. It's such good music.
Yeah, almost. They're almost so good and so talented that they're almost underrated because you don't even know it's the same people doing incredibly different roles. All right, let me tell you about Simply Safe. Does anything matter more than the safety of you and your loved ones at home? Well, of course not. So how come many home security companies don't act that way? I trust and recommend Simply Safe, 2 eyes in there, because I use their product. They've been a sponsor for a million years. Peel and stick, very sleek, streamlined, ergonomically nice stuff. Batteries last up to 10 years. 24/7 professional monitoring. Simply Safe's agents dispatch police or first responders the moment a threat is detected, even if you're not home or can't be reached. One day, just $1 a day. $1 a day. No long-term contracts or hidden fees. Customize the perfect system for your home in just a few minutes at simplysafe.com/Adam. Go today for a free indoor security camera plus 20% off interactive monitoring at simplysafe.com/Adam. All right, quick break. Got some more for you right after this.
It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Hey, Adam. I'm listening to NPR interview the L.A. Chief Heat Officer. There isn't a traffic czar, but there's a Chief Heat Officer. You know what she said? It's hot outside. Get it on.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
Oh, yeah, she's in charge of like cool zones and stuff.
Yeah.
How did they go to the park and run a hose? Anyone who shows up there needs to be arrested. Why the fuck aren't you at work? You know, you'd be cool indoors working
in a cubicle,
in a fucking office with the rest of us, asshole. Jesus Christ, it's so. It's so interesting because I watch the Life of Phil, and you don't need a dog gets it. What he does is he lays by the air conditioner. No, here's what Phil does. When it's hot, he heads into the house and he heads into the shower and he lays down on the cold tile.
Yes.
And he
That's
lays
cat
there for long enough to get his core down. Then he steps outside and lays down on the lawn in the sun and he heats himself back up again. Then he goes into the swimming pool and takes a dip. Then he goes back inside and lays down on top of Sunny, soaking wet.
He's a lazy genius.
Yeah.
Yes. So we don't really need a czar to talk to a Labrador. We don't need one for people. People kind of got it figured out, even those who work outside. All right. So I got this thing. Should dovetail maybe nicely.
Baby.
Yeah, Phil. The problem with Phil is he shows up in the middle of the night and then he forces you to have dreams. So I was saying to Sonny, he goes to bed with Sonny, but somewhere around 5 a.m, he decides he'd like to shift the venue.
Yeah, see what's doing over in your place.
So then he shows up at my bed at 4 a.m, and then he lays down again. And I said to Sonny, I know, and he's breathing on me, and he pushes on me with his paws. And I said, I had a dream that my arm was in the mouth of an alligator.
I'm by it.
Because Phil was snorting and pushing on me, and Sonny went, I had the same dream. I dreamt I was being attacked by a bear because Phil was standing over him grunting.
Yeah.
And Sonny's, your little brain is trying to stay asleep, so you're trying to fold it into
Make a
whatever
story,
dream
yeah.
you're trying to build it in. But so he went bear, I went alligator.
You come full circle. You got random giants coming over crashing in your bed.
Yes. Phil, he does not like to sleep the direction of the bed.
Right,
He likes to go
perpendicular.
the opposite way to try to push you off the side of it.
He looks mighty comfortable. I'm getting pretty jealous.
I was gonna say it looks like the
The
life.
fluffy pillows.
He's pretty relaxed. It is his best power move is literally submerging himself in the swimming pool, walking out of the swimming pool, walking directly into Sonny's room, walking into his room and laying down on top of his bed. Still, when he stands out by the door, he's just dripping.
I
There's
would
just
be
a puddle under him.
fucking furious, and I love this dog.
I know. It's the thing that's funny about Sonny is Natalia would not put up with this for a New York minute.
No, and she shouldn't.
Sonny's like, all right, well, try to keep him on that side of the bed. He doesn't. He still lays on top of him.
I think this is one of the differences in the genders. Because as a boy, okay, but as a girl, how do you get into that bed at night when it smells like wet pool dog?
It does. It smells like wet pool dog in Sonny's room.
Oh boy.
All right, we got a call here that's reminding me of a story that Dawson has and something that happened to me. Larry, 48 from Nashville. Larry.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hi, Guy.
Y'all doing all right? Ball, Gina, y'all okay?
Tip
Thank
top.
you.
Hey, I was just wondering, with everything going on, I'm growing up in the South. I live in Nashville now. When am I going to start getting scolded for using yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir? Or when are they going to start telling kids they can't do that? And,
Well,
I'm kind of worried about it.
Listen, it's all coming. And the reason it's all coming is most of the stuff like, birthing people or menstruating people or whatever weirdness we're Latinx or Latinx or whatever we're doing now sounded insane 2.5 years ago. We're sprinting toward this bizarre finish line. I had a moment where I was in a supermarket and during Natalia's volleyball break, I ran to the supermarket to try to find something. And I went in there and there was definitely what seemed like a woman who worked there in her 60s, rather, with her sort of back turned to me, but long gray hair and sort of back. And I just walked up and I went, excuse me, miss, do you know? And I went, what if she's not a miss? Or what if she turns around and I fucked up some pronoun or something? I had a weird moment, which is an insane feeling to have because you should be able to just Mr. or Miss. And by the way, if you're not a Miss or Mr., fucking eat it. Just fucking eat it and keep walking. But keep stocking shelves. So I had a weird moment. She didn't turn into anything, but this is interesting. This changing of the names of everything, which I've been drilling down on for a long time. I just told Chris to pull this story and gave it to Dawson, Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York, I guess interim governor. Mm-hmm. She's got some groundbreaking legislation she's pushing forward. Now, not so much about the homelessness or why no one's riding the subway because they're scared they're going to get attacked. This is more important than that.
Governor Kathy Hochul today signed a legislative package to promote greater fairness and restore dignity for individuals that have been affected by the criminal justice system. New legislation will help parolees maintain their jobs or pursue education and training opportunities by expanding the hours parolees can attend required community supervision programs to non-working hours. Additionally, new legislation will reduce harmful stigma against incarcerated people by correcting the outdated terminology used to refer to incarcerated individuals in state law. Legislation replaces instances of the word inmate in state law with incarcerated individual.
What's better? How is that better?
It's the same thing about waiter and server. You know what I mean? It's a lateral move at best. Here's what these assholes never understand. First off, what the fuck? You're incarcerated or you're an inmate. I don't know. Or
inmate sounds downright pleasant.
It's pretty damn close to playmate. All right. Or hey, mate. Or, put another shrimp on the Barbie.
Yeah.
Here's what I realized what happens. We set these terms. Well, first off, whatever the shame you feel about being in the system, the penal system, go ahead and feel a little of that shame kick in, because maybe that'll prevent you from, stabbing your next elderly person.
Right.
Yeah. So a little shame goes a long way. I don't know why we don't. Well, first off, we're worried about how they feel and the shame they may feel. We've locked them inside of a cage and given them orange pajamas.
Yeah.
And they eat shit on a shingle and try not to get butt fucked in the shower. I would say we're already done with the shame part.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The nomenclature is but a minuscule percentage.
Yeah, like, someone said, hey, Adam, what do you care more about, your title? Should it be broadcaster or podcaster? Or the shame of people have to give you AA batteries by smuggling it up their ass? I'd go, well, that seems like a bigger issue to me than whether you call me podcaster or broadcaster. That almost seemes like a push versus smuggling shit in.
You are absolutely right. And this is such a good example of, for lack of a better word, sort of whitewashing. You should feel bad for the prisoners. The prisoners like, so all you out there are calling us incarcerated people instead of inmates, but our life sucks like it did yesterday. It doesn't change their life.
The other thing is it's not avoidable. And here's why it's not avoidable. Because whether you are swapping around the titles of things, inmate or incarcerated individual or whatever we're doing, or you're saying it's not an illegal alien or illegal migrant, it's now undocumented, whatever. At a certain point, that group becomes that group and it is that group. And then there's stigma to being in prison. So we could call people in prison, we could start today. Like Kathy Hochul could make a decree that said they must be called unicornians. But my kids, by the time they got to 25, and if I said this guy's a unicornian, they'd go, fuck, I don't want to be near that guy.
It doesn't matter what
scary.
it is.
There's a title. The title is, it's like, I don't know if the term Nazi was around before Nazi, but now Nazi means Nazi, and there's a stigma attached to it. And if we changed, herpes to happies, eventually you'd be sitting across the table having dinner on a first date, and the girl would go, I've got the happies. And you'd go, stigma. There's a stigma.
But
tell us the name. You can't avoid it.
Run the stigma.
Right. That's exactly right.
And I get it. I mean, language is allowed to change. We don't call waitresses serving wenches anymore. We're allowed to change the language. But like you said, when it's pushed through above all else, it sounds fucking ridiculous.
Larry, you still there? Oh, Larry got tired of my diatribe. Here's one I've never heard before, line 1, which is Michael, 31, from Illinois.
How's it going, guys?
Hi, Guy.
Hey, I don't think I've heard you bring this up before, and I can't remember specifically where I read it, but I think it proves your point about Grandpa Al Lewis, and that I read that he used to have Charles Manson babysit his kids.
This is on Reddit. This has made a couple of rounds on like a couple of chat forums, and there's a website called Purple Clover that also says things you didn't know about Charles Manson. And to Michael's point, it says on a few occasions, Manson served as a babysitter for the children of actor Al Lewis.
Well,
according to Lewis, Charles was a nice guy when I knew him.
His oldest son would have been born in probably 1960, maybe 1959, 1960, somewhere in there.
Timeline checks out.
So then he would have been, 6, 7, when Manson was putting those ads on the telephone poles for cheap babysitting or something.
He makes funny faces.
They were, a Van Nuys-based group for people who don't know the lay of the valley, Spahn Ranch, Chatsworth, California. It's a little deeper into the valley, but it's, as the crow flies, about 7 miles, 8 miles away from where they grew. And God knows where Manson was. He was probably
a drifter.
Sofa surfing.
Yeah.
I know they call it couch surfing, but let's use alliteration.
It's right there,
It's right there. Sofa surfing. So, yeah, and he was also bumming around, and Al was, into the arts.
Manson was a musician.
Yeah,
songs.
Probably may have had some ideas about acting or something. It could have been some bohemian.
And sort of a diminutive guy.
He was, by all accounts, a charming man.
You got people to murder for him. I would say it's convincing.
Very influential.
I would argue, much more effective than any politician I've heard in terms of getting people, if you really think about it, getting 19-year-old girls to stab strangers on your behalf.
Charismatic.
Yes, you do have some influence over them.
Yeah.
Some sway.
God knows I've tried. Like I can't get them to take the fucking garbage out. Forget about stabbing, famous people.
Yeah.
So it's
possible.
The timeline checks out, and the coordinates check out.
Right.
Definitely bopping
Makes
around
sense.
the San Fernando Valley there.
Yeah.
Let's see. You have quotes from state senator?
Yeah, so along with that release, there were also some quotes with Governor Kathy Hochul's new legislative package.
Mm-hmm.
State Senator Gustavo Rivera. He says, I am proud that my bill to replace all references of the word inmate with incarcerated individual in New York State has been signed today by Governor Hochul. For too long, we, as a society, have thought of incarcerated individuals as less than people. The use of the word inmate further dehumanizes and demoralizes them. This is another concrete step our state is taking to make our criminal justice system one that focuses on rehabilitation rather than relying solely on punishment.
It is weird that we're living in a time where we have crazy homeless problems and crazy crime problems and all sorts of God knows what's going on around internationally and at home, and focus on some of the most granular shit ever. Like we're simultaneously talking about California and New York are simultaneously talking about global warming, like the biggest, it's got the word global in it. And we're talking about super granular sort of neither here nor there. Who cares? Like it's a bizarre use of time.
Well, and it's also like, like it says, we think of inmates as less than people. I don't think that. Like who are you convincing? Who are you talking to?
I'm sort of inmate by inmate.
Well,
my feeling is like there's people in there for raping their daughters, and I think less of them. And then there's the guy got caught with the weed. And
you think less of them, and I think we all think less of them, but do you think of them as non-human? I mean, scientifically, I get it. We're all people. That's a bad person.
Also, we've declared war on anyone who makes a lot of money. Like you want to think less of that inmate than you think of Elon Musk. Like yeah, kind of. I mean, in terms of contributions and tax revenue and the things of that nature. Yeah. It's weird. This weird sort of toppling of statues, kind of. Christopher Columbus statues got to come down, and inmates got to come up.
Even the playing field.
Incarcerated persons.
Incarcerated persons. All right, we got one more. So I never met Charlie, but
good.
I
would have been.
He and Ray would have taken on the world.
I would have easily. I always laugh about the conversation with Tex Watson, where at some point, because you really have to really think about it this way. They're living for free in Spahn Ranch, right? Mm-hmm. All they're doing is recruiting hot runaway 17, 18, and 19-year-olds and then banging them on a pile of hay.
Yeah.
It's all they're doing. There's no, and then sending them out. You know what I mean? Like, hey, when you're done blowing me, I need you to go down to the Ralph's and steal me some vodka. Bring that back, and then you can blow me while I'm drinking the vodka. Like, I would assume they were sex slaves.
Sure.
And there were 18, 19, and kind of hot.
Yeah.
It was kind of hot. It was hard. It was hard not to be hot in 1967 through 73 when you were an 18-year-old chick because no one was fat.
Yeah.
So now everyone is young. No one is fat. Everyone is at least a 7.
You're DTF.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, how bad can it be?
Yeah.
The things that take a woman down later on, there's got some grays coming in and the skin's been sunblasted or whatever it is, getting a little saggy and a little baggy. But at 19, that doesn't exist. And in 1967, nobody was fat. So you have hot chicks, all, in the 6.5 to 9 range, clearly willing to do anything sexually.
Pliable.
Mm-hmm.
And then
coachable.
You and Charlie are just hanging around.
Yeah.
Your name is Tex. You kind of rule the roost over
You're
there.
the only other guy.
You're plowing all the hot runaways. You get tired of fucking these ones. You can go down to Melrose and get a new batch of them. So, I saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
That's right.
I know how it works. So they're hot, they're skinny, and they're blowing you all day. And then at some point, Charlie says to Tex, probably while he was getting blown, I'm assuming. I mean, do the math. Hey, let's pile into that car that barely runs, take this steak knife, and
go get some more runaways? I'm with you, buddy. Finish up the BJ.
No, I want you to stab Abigail Folger.
The coffee heiress?
Yeah.
Okay. And bring her back as a sex slave?
Oh, no. I want you to.
She doesn't fit the demo, dude.
I want a real high-profile killing, and then we're going to be on the lam.
But we have it so good.
I know. I mean,
I got a better idea.
If I was Tex, I would have done the scene from Goodfellas where they were going to kill what's his name that night.
Maury.
Yeah.
Maury's wigs.
Yeah, and just kind of.
Tonight's off.
Yeah, we're playing cards. We're having a drink. We're having a good time. Just knock it off.
Yeah.
Let's kick that fucking can down the road. There's so many more runaways to bang. We could have another 5 years of fucking runaways on free land.
At a minimum.
Minimum. On a fucking ranch.
5 years if we fuck this up. We can go on forever.
No.
Had to move on.
Got to move it on.
Tex Watson has a little Leonard Nimoy in him.
Hot.
Never really noticed that.
He also, those of you who aren't big fans of the death penalty, sired 4 kids from prison?
That's insane.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
not allowed. No, he doesn't get conjugal visits. Nobody gets to get knocked up.
Well,
while
this
they're
is what
incarcerated.
happens when you stop calling them prisoners. Yeah, conjugal visits.
That's insane.
All right, let's see. Josh?
Hi, guy.
Hi, guy.
I mean, I'm sorry. Let me be PC. Hi, they.
That's good.
Oh, God.
Thanks. What's going on?
There's a group of 12 of us. We've had our spot reserved on the boat for 2 years. We're not hearing
Sex
anything
boat?
back from the travel agency.
Oh, we're
About a
talking about the
cruise.
Carolla
Anything?
Cruise. Here's my update, and here's all I know, and most of this is really fluid. I haven't figured it out.
Like Adam's gender.
Mike is trying to get a cruise ship. The cruise ship industry's all been ruined by COVID, and things are backlogged and whatever. Mike said, why don't we take out like a whole hotel in New Orleans, and then we'll take out the House of Blues up the street, and then we'll put you and we'll get Blues Traveler
Oh, shit.
to show up, and we'll do a whole fans weekend with Carolla and podcast and bands and Blues Traveler, and do something, get the same ticket, get the break on the hotel room and the VIP thing and
Linda
all that.
Hamilton.
Linda Hamilton now's just been
Just
added.
walking past the buffet, shaking her head no.
Yes.
Not interested.
Want some gumbo? You just good with hose water? So it's only you ate 3 days ago. Okay, I get it, Linda.
Just some black coffee.
That's all I got for you so far, Josh.
That sounds
sounds
pretty
exciting.
good. Yeah.
It would be good because John is a great performer, and he's also good on his feet. He's got a good sense of humor, likes to get up there and kind of tell some jokes and stuff. So
Now, please tell me we're talking spring or fall and not dead summer in Baton Rouge.
no, I think now we're talking about maybe January or something like that. So
fun.
that might be fun. That's about all I know. Nothing's been locked in yet. We're trying to figure out John's schedule and so on and so forth. But he's down with it.
We could do a squirrel shooting contest.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Nutria.
Good eats.
Yeah.
Nutria. All right, thanks, Josh. That's all I got so
sounds
far.
good.
But I haven't been talking about because it's not been locked in. But
When we know, you'll know.
we're working. Yeah, right. We're working on it. All right, Felipe Esparza's out there. I'm going to tell you guys about concrete. Yeah, I had some of this today. Well, I do it every day. It's creatine, and it's what your body needs. And your body makes about half the creatine you need, then the other half comes from the diet. But, of course, the American diet, not very rich with creatine. So, Concrete has patented creatine, HCl. It's the favorite creatine of elite, well-informed athletes. It's the #1 bioavailable creatine. It's the only microdosing creatine. Just one small scoop per 100 pounds of your body weight. Stir it up. It's got a lemony taste. Tastes nice. Shake it up in your shaker bottle there. It's required, creatine is, for functional energy in every cell. Your brain uses about 20% of the creatine in your body, and you'll feel it when you taste it, and it tastes good, and it lasts a long time because these are just little mini scoops. Anyway, good for the immune system, good for the heart, good for the lungs. It's concrete, right, Dawson?
Take control of your health, both body and mind. Build a better you with Concrete. Register now at con-crete.com/podcast. That's con-cret.com/podcast for a chance to win a $500 Walmart Visa gift card available now online and in-store at Walmart. Concrete is truly life-changing and performance-enhancing.
All right. We will bring in our favorite comedian, Felipe Esparza. We'll do that right after this.
Adam Carolla's 6th book and audiobook. Everything reminds me of something. Advice, answers, but no apologies. Should aliens make contact with Earth? Who do we send on humanity's behalf? Chad, 32, Ohio.
Obviously, Dwayne Johnson, a.k.a. The Rock, jumps to mind. He'd send a message. The aliens would inevitably ask him why he'd been chosen, and he'd say, I'm the lightest. I have the smallest upper body of all the human, and they know I'm docile and wouldn't scare you. And we could pair him with Joy Behar in case they were thinking about mating with us. So we could nip that one in the bud, too.
Everything reminds me of something. Available now, wherever finer books are sold.
Felipe Esparza back in studio.
What's up, everyone? What's up?
Good to see you, my friend.
Good to
Felipe's
be back.
got really funny stand-up specials. They're not going to laugh at you. I have the Showtime one. Translate this. Oh, which one did you shoot at the Improv?
In San Jose, that
San
was
Jose.
Translate this.
Yeah, that was a really funny one. HBO, Bad Decisions, Netflix. Good to see you again, my
Yeah,
friend.
and I have another one too right now. Bad Decisions on Netflix. It's in Spanish and English.
Oh, how do you do that?
I shot them both in 2 days. One in English, and then the next day I came back and I shot it in Spanish.
Oh, wow.
And it seems like a good but difficult idea. It seems like there's certain phrasing and things.
Yes, a lot of like double entendres don't work in Spanish, and some words that I was using, they only work in California. Like some of the words that we use everyday life, like brakes. I thought it was always brecas, but it's not. It's frenos. And a lot of the stuff that the West Coast Spanish is a mixture of English and Spanish, and that's not real Spanish. So I had to change those words. As soon as I got to Mexico and started doing shows in Tijuana, Mexico, that's when I first noticed that some of the words are not working here.
Where do you work in Tijuana?
The Hong Kong Theater. No, I worked at a little cafe that my friend Joel runs every Wednesday, and they have a comedy night. It's all Spanish.
I'll get out there and hit an open mic on Wednesday. Do they have? Is it on Revolution Street?
No, man, but it's totally Tijuana, man, because like some of the stuff in that cafe where I was at wouldn't fly at. Well, actually, they'll fly in some places, maybe in the east side, like Montebello, but the sink wasn't working. So they had to wash your hands. It wasn't working in the men's restroom. So all they did was put a bucket of warm water. So everybody could just dip
Go
their
ahead and
hands.
dunk.
That didn't affect their rating on the window?
No.
Oh.
There's no rating.
Rover wasn't
Yeah.
buzzing around there with the Sky Team too.
That was weird. And the green room was on top of the kitchen, so it was hot.
Oh, you're right above the kitchen. Yeah, I have many a fond memory of Tijuana from my youth and beyond. Plenty of good strip clubs there, Margaritas Village, the Unicorn, all on Revolution there. There's, did we ever talk about Margaritas Village?
No.
Okay, well, a couple things. You're tall for Tijuana.
Yes.
Tijuana doesn't have building codes. So when you go downstairs, and Revolution is the main drag, but kind of like New York, there's a lot of
Everything's subterranean.
The clubs are down below.
Right.
You walk down there, you're walking down the stairs, you'll hit your head if you're above 6 foot. Like they don't have, you forget, I'll just give you an example. Treads and risers, a staircase. In America, they're all the same. And your foot has memorized the height. You don't look down when you're walking upstairs in the U.S. All you have to do is put one an inch higher in the middle and you'll trip on it. That's what Tijuana is. I have no idea. You're walking down the sidewalk, you step over the curb into a hole. You gotta keep your head on a swivel over there.
And like once you leave, like he's right about Revolution. It's like real nice, like Las Vegas or Hong Kong. It's very bright and lit up. But once that ends, it goes back to dirt road and
fast
and people selling cats, and tacos.
Is it
clothing.
Revolution more for like whitey tourist who wants to taste?
It's for everybody that wants to make their dollar grow.
Right.
You could be Tom Cruise in there with $500.
Yeah. The girls still selling chiclets?
Yes, right outside, man. But there's like, what I found out from a guy that lived in Tijuana, he said that the Revolution is still strong. Like the whorehouses and the strip bars still run the same.
Good.
But in the alley, you could still, like, if you're too cheap to go inside the strip bars and flirt with a stripper, there's cheaper stuff than that outside. And they're like this alley. And my friend calls it Snake Alley because all the girls go and they call you like that. And then
the strippers make noises there. I know they do a lot of hi if you get a little grabby, when they're on stage.
Oh no, man!
They'll kick you.
Not in Tijuana, man. Everything goes.
I
when's the last time you did a show down there? Come on.
It's been a while. I can tell you there is a science or a method to the alley madness because the thing about the prostitutes in the strip club, all of the dancers are also prostitutes.
Oh.
So,
Diversify.
see what you like.
Right.
Then, at some point the song's going to end.
Sure.
My friend went upstairs with one of them. And when I say my friend, it was my friend. I know his name. I'm not going to say it. But he said it was $20 or something. Now, it was $20 for either sex or a blowjob.
Oh.
But the room is $20. They get you with the room.
Whoa.
That's where the alley kicks in.
Oh.
There must be levels, like the game of levels when you get up to. There must be $20 to get in,
Right.
and then they might try to sell you. I don't know.
Upsell.
Yeah, upsell.
You can't bundle that? Like insurance?
Hold on, Flo. he
the
got
game of death.
He got taken
floors.
to the cleaners because he thought it was 20 all in.
Right.
Then the room was 20. Then mid blowjob, he changed his mind. That's how you know a man is a man of passion. He said, "No, you know what? I'm going to go for the sex now." But he already ordered the blowjob.
Another 20.
So he got charged 60.
As much as your friend is clearly the victim in this story, I do wonder about all these women being trafficked and not actually getting to keep any of that money.
I don't know how the breakdown works.
I have suspicions.
I couldn't find out because we got chased out of the club because anyone who's been to, look, if you want to go to Tijuana and get your buzz on and get your strip club on, don't get buzzed at the strip club. They charge a premium for drinks.
Sure.
Go buy a bottle, order a Coke, and freshen it up.
You can BYOB?
No, it's frowned on.
Or you could stay across the street at the Presidente Hotel. I heard they invented the
fancy.
Caesar salad there.
Yeah.
I like how your friend was in for $60 for half a blowjob and sex. It feels like he got ripped off.
I know, he got robbed.
Well, we're going back to 1980s.
Sure, yeah.
That's a deal.
Where do they do the put the margarita in your mouth and then give you really shake you up and down all around?
That's Margaritas Village.
That is, okay.
They have a whistle too, right?
Yeah. They dress as old-timey prison convicts.
Incarcerated individual.
Oh, sorry. And
like the Hamburglar? Like
Yeah. And or like the sheriff or,
the cowboy.
Yeah, just
the Indian chief.
Yeah, it's village people.
worker.
It's village people.
Yeah.
And then they do the tequila slammers, I guess, where they slam it. They take.
Well, they
You ever
throw
done this,
they throw
Felipe?
your head
Yes,
back.
Yeah.
I was at a Raider tailgate party, just walking around with my wife, and somebody was doing that at the tailgate.
God.
And I asked my wife, "You want a drink?" She said, "Yeah." And they put like a funnel and like 3 types of shots. And that guy flipped her around 2 times. Then she was dizzy, man.
I would absolutely
They put a
choke to
football
death.
helmet on her and they flipped her around. And when they were whistling,
Yeah, well, it's a lot like that. I mean, this is something that would be so illegal in the United States.
Yes.
Yeah.
It could never pass
OSHA
any
would
kind
have an
of
issue.
legislation. But
Yeah.
they hit you. I don't know. Is Margaritas Village still there, Chris? It's a downstairs place. You sit at these big tables. You order booze and whatever. The thing that's diabolical about it is they take tequila, they put it in a medium-sized sort of shot glass tumbler thing. They put a little 7-Up in it. They slam it on the table with their hand over it. It starts fizzing immediately. They pull your head back and they dump it down your throat, and then they put their forearm on your face and they shake your head like a paint can shaker.
Awesome.
That sounds horrible.
It's awesome. And here's the other thing.
Live show.
Yeah.
There is no denying it. And
Well, I can't wave it off.
you don't have a choice.
It's non-consensual?
Non-consensual. So let's just say I wanted to date rape you.
Sure.
For example.
And you were like, I don't drink.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to use the bathroom. And I would just get up and go find the guy in the prison guard outfit. And I'd see the chick over there in the blank tank top? Yeah. Give her 2.
She needs to loosen up.
Give her 2.
And they'd go over there and they would do it.
Oh, no, thank you.
No, they don't. They come up behind. They're thieves in the night. Yes, they come up. Is that the date rape sound or the popper
Yeah,
sound?
the night's over.
They come up.
I thought you were drowning.
They come. Hey, I spent $20
many
in this
pills you
room,
put in
baby.
there?
They come up behind you,
Oh,
grab you by the
fuck
forehead.
that.
There's nothing you can do.
Jesus. People could choke to death.
Yeah.
Oh, it's happened for sure.
Definitely goes down the wrong pipe.
Oh, there's people booting at that table. Yeah. That's Tijuana, baby.
Yeah, man.
That sounds fun.
You could buy tacos there, real good tacos.
Yeah.
Remember a big long bar with like 5 bartenders, and it was like $1 tequila sunrush or whatever. But the trick was you had to tip, obviously. So yeah.
I like, we do all the street tacos and all that kind of stuff.
Fish tacos, and then those lobsters and ensenada for $20.
Yeah.
With rice and beans.
Yeah.
good stuff.
Is that Rosarita or Ensenada?
That's Puerto Peña. No. That's Ensenada.
Is that out? You go out on a pier and do that one?
It's
I've
out
done
on the
that.
pier, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're all over the place. They're all trying to get you in. We got the best lobster.
They just bring over big pile of lobsters, big pile of fresh tortillas.
Porto Nuevo.
Yeah, and a big piles of beans and rice and whatever
Damn.
beer you
Flour
want.
tortillas.
They just lay it all out on the table.
Sounds amazing.
You walk down the street, buy some fireworks, and pop them in the fucking beach.
Yeah, it's
awesome.
lawless.
Yeah, Disneyland. For
You know
adults.
what's funny when you go to Mexico, though? Like as a tourist or just being a Mexican American going to Mexico, the federal agents there, you know, they look scary, you know, because they're wearing like the Gulf War uniforms that the American gave them, you know, you could tell. And they check our vehicles on the way in, you know, to Mexico. And I'm like, what are you checking for? Progress? You know, But they're checking our vehicle. Like, what are they looking for, man? Everything I want to bring in, I'm getting from you guys.
I've never heard of being checked on the way in.
Yeah, they check you in and they look, you know.
Yeah, the move, because a lot of people get their cars stolen and that kind of stuff, is you just park at the border and then you walk across it and then you get into a cab.
Hell yeah.
And the cabs are all like mobile pimps. The first, you climb in with 3 dudes and they're like, all right, taking it to the whorehouse, right? Like they're all on the payroll.
Or they got limos there where they actually from the whorehouse with a tag right on it, like they say it's Adelitas or Hong Kong.
Wow.
Really?
And they'll take you straight to the hotel. You don't even gotta see anybody.
Oh,
Nice.
You just go straight in. They bring you in.
So still little girls selling chiclets.
Yeah. No, you know what? You get those little girls, little kids begging and selling piñatas when you're standing in line on the way to get inside America.
Yeah.
They're hustling, man, these piggy banks. And sometimes the line to walk in is so long.
Yeah.
Like half a mile long. 4-hour wait
When you're leaving.
when you're leaving Mexico.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's where you make the impulse buy because you're drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've had a boner for 7 hours, and you're like, that plaster of Paris E.T. with the Prussian helmet, that's going to be worth a lot one day. Definitely getting me one of them. They sell the most useless shit on the planet, but everyone is leaving as shit-faced.
Yeah.
And is ready to make their last impulse buy.
That's true. The only times I've ever been to Tijuana were to help at an orphanage. Thank you.
Yes.
So leaving, there are a lot of people selling shit, but they seemed okay. Like
Yeah.
they didn't.
Yeah.
Like it seemed like everybody was feeling pretty good. Please tell me they were okay.
Yeah, they're okay.
Okay, good.
They look hungry. They didn't look hungry.
They
just a
did. They
hustle.
look cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't even know. Are there any pictures of that, Chris? There's just a long line of people. Actually, LA's kind of turning into that now.
It's long, that line, man.
To walk though, I've never seen that.
Oh, Margaritas Village is no longer there. Oh, man.
That's horrible.
I wonder what the hell it is now. It's now a bank. No. I have no fucking idea.
Were they giving tequila?
What is the big highlight playing place on the corner? There's like a highlight stadium.
Oh, that's a
Like
old
big gambling,
stadium.
weird.
Yeah, highlight.
Yes.
That's been around forever. They do highlight and they do dog races in Tijuana.
No.
But the highlight's been around since like the 80s when it was big during Miami Vice era.
Yes.
But I've never been to a highlight game. But I didn't even know how to gamble to the game. I didn't even know how to play it.
It's all there for gambling.
But I know it looks dangerous because that ball is really
Oh,
hard.
whipping it.
Yeah.
It has to be like hockey or something.
They have
With like the scooper.
They have
Yeah.
a wicker basket
Yeah.
scooper and a hard tennis ball, and they whip it. It's they wear a helmet, so there is some danger involved. It's probably the only people wearing helmets in all of Tijuana.
Yeah, they're like jockeys.
Yes.
My
All right.
brother in Tijuana, though. My brother got deported, and he's living in Tijuana.
Right now?
Yes.
When did he get deported?
Oh, I don't know. Probably during Bill Clinton, probably, or afterwards.
How is Tijuana? Like, you hear a lot about drug cartels. On the other hand, they know where their bread is buttered. Like, they're not going to go do something horrendous right in the middle of tourist alley, right? That's going to draw too much attention.
No, I was surprised because when I was doing the comedy shows, my friend, he has Tijuana plates, so he would pick us up in San Diego and drive us in, and then he has an express pass, but only for himself. So he would go in, and then we would get in line and walk in. But we didn't see anything. We just saw more where he lives, I saw more Americans than I saw Mexicans, because a lot of the white Americans from San Diego are buying a lot of badass beach condos for $150,000, and now they're worth $300,000. So,
Yeah, so there's a couple of stories.
but in downtown, man, like it is packed, like New York packed, and there's like so much transportation back and forth, like so much hustle. Like I saw a guy. There's buses, but there's also a van that picks up people too, that goes even further. Like, okay, so you have a bus stop in Montebello, but there's not one in City of Commerce, so that van would go over there. And this van is full of people, and it goes far, man, away from the city. But it is jam packed, man. There's chiclets everywhere, man. Dildos, piñatas.
Everything.
What I noticed too was a lot of Nigerians.
In
like
Tijuana?
a shitload. Like,
Really?
And Haitians.
Really?
Like they're changing the game over there. Mexico's gonna get gold medals one day. But I guess during like when nobody wanted them, everybody was saying no, we don't want refugees. Mexico said yes. So there's like a lot of Nigerians there, and they speak Spanish now. I saw a restaurant that's kind of like a mixture of Mexican food and their food.
Damn, that'd be good.
Yeah,
Nigerian
so
food's
it's
good.
A bowl of fufu with
Yeah,
al pastor.
that's right.
I don't know what Nigerian food
Yeah,
is.
fufu.
Fufu is like a paste, like that stuff that Hawaiians eat.
Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
And
listen, the Nigerians are
lot of good
overachievers, man.
They're taking all the jobs in Mexico, in Tijuana, especially that a more normal educated Mexican wouldn't take, so they're taking the jobs that they're not taking and starting.
Oh,
can
they're
say it,
your
Adam.
Mexicans.
Yes.
Oh, I always ask everyone who their Mexicans are.
The Nigerians are our Mexicans, man.
Interesting.
And Indians too.
They're your Mexicans?
They're programmers. What are you talking about?
No, but there's a lot of them that are trying to get into America through California, so they lay up in Tijuana.
Interesting.
A lot of Chinese and Juarez.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always, whenever I've traveled, I always go, who are your Mexicans? And they go, what? They get all offended. And then I go, no, I go, listen, I live in Los Angeles. I used to work construction. It's 100% Mexican. Whoever's mowing the lawns, working in the kitchens, stacking the cinder blocks, building the walls, it's exclusively Mexican. That's what they do. So we're here in, Spain. Who are your Mexicans? They'll go, oh, Ukrainians. They'll go like, yeah, they come in and they do all the fucking lawn mowing, the shit we don't want to do.
Right.
So every culture has the group that comes in, and then the plan is like boxing. Had a lot of Jews, had a lot of Italians in the 20s and 30s, and moving it. Then they move up into management, and their kids don't have to get in the ring. So at some point, the Nigerians do the work that the Mexicans don't want to do, but at some point, they buy the restaurant they're working at for 20 years, and then their kids manage it.
Right.
That's the plan.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
What else do you want me to tell you about Tijuana?
He's right, because like the Mexicans, like they were good boxers, like in the 70s, Pepino Cuevas. But then you got the black boxer who came in after them from Latin America, like Mantequilla Napoles. Then you got Zuma Nelson, light heavyweight from Congo.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. You know something about boxing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
My
confused.
father's a boxer. He boxed tomatoes, grapes, oranges. All right, people.
Pepino Cuevas was the guy that fucked me up, like I said, because my...
Me too, man, because I thought he was going to be big, but then he get his ass beat by the hitman, Hearns.
Yeah, but also I asked at some point, I asked my Spanish-speaking nanny, what's pepino mean? And she said, cucumber or pickle. And I said, cucumber? What the fuck kind of boxing name is that?
Little cucumber.
That's not where he gets pepino.
Or like when Erik Estrada had that Spanish sitcom,
Erik Estrada?
Yeah, Dos Mujeres, Un Pepino.
Oh, really?
Camino.
He had a Spanish sitcom?
Yes. When he was done here in America, he was not getting a lot of work. He got offered the most money ever for an actor in Mexico to play the lead actor in a sitcom called Two Women, One Road.
It's like Three's Company.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was like a man with two wives, I guess, and he got paid so much. He didn't know. He did not. First Puerto Rican that didn't know how to speak any Spanish, and he had to he had half pieces to
feed
prompt
him
him.
the lines in Spanish.
Wow.
And then that I guess that novella was like number one.
Really?
He didn't even know what he was saying.
What years are we talking about?
Talking
here?
the early 90s, 80s, late 80s.
Wow.
Early 90s, yeah.
Yeah, people forget that Erik Estrada was a superstar.
Super.
And, long before Mario Lopez, he was a hunk.
Oh, sure.
He was a Latin hunk. I mean, he was a poster.
Yeah, with
he had
underwear on.
He had a poster that basically, I probably didn't move as many units as Farah's, but it was up there. It was ubiquitous.
see that.
Everyone had seen this poster of Erik Estrada.
You remember that poster just like you remember Bo Jackson's,
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, was he in a Speedo or
He was
something?
a Speedo. He was like this.
Hold on.
So you just close your eyes and you're staring up at your ceiling, and it's
was a little gold
1979. Yeah, he had a gold chain. He was in a Speedo, and he was posterized.
And his hair was perfect, like Scott Bell, perfect.
Yeah, feathered.
Selling a lot of brushes.
Mm-hmm. And then he was the biggest thing ever, and then he completely just dropped off.
Well, I remember late night TV, he'd be selling like pieces of land in the Northwest.
Yes, he had a deal. There were all these weird commercial called.
Then he showed up on MTV on a Butthole Surfer video.
He did?
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Jesus.
He was a cop. He just shows up. I don't mind, but
Yeah.
he was in that video. There he is.
Oh, he's in some tight jeans.
Oh, tight jeans. That's right.
Yeah,
take
you
it.
put him in a Speedo. That makes you gay.
He's a good looking man.
Estrada, $1 million smile,
Oh, boy.
super hunk. I mean, I used to watch the shit out of Chips. I loved Estrada.
I love Chips.
I love Chips too. Yeah.
Remember, there was that one episode where they went back to a neighborhood and there was like a gangster. They were all cholos, but they all knew karate.
The best. And so you watch every episode of Chips?
Every episode.
All right, so I did too. And there was a couple things I learned from watching Chips. One is the best episodes weren't the bank heist episodes. It was when they went to him in his swinger's apartment during his days off.
His bachelor pad.
Little RV.
Drove like a Trans Am. No, he had an apartment. Uh-oh.
Erik Estrada had an apartment? I thought he had an RV, like Mel Gibson, Lethal Weapon.
He was down by the beach. He was in the marina, but I think he had an apartment. And the best, well, we can look it up. Maybe that was Larry Wilcox's apartment, but he drove a Trans Am. He'd show up in like a members only jacket. It was a thrill to see these guys in
tight
civvies,
pants, the bows,
tight pants and dingo boots. The ladies all turning their heads when he'd go strutting through a restaurant.
You may be talking about John, because I'm looking here. It says John Baker lives at Raintree. It's a condominium village.
Yeah, probably
and is
in
often
the marina.
seen arriving or going into his apartment, and it's like a hot place to live.
Yeah, they used to have swingers apartments or whatever, just young single people in the 70s. Pre-AIDS, mid-coke, best time ever.
Erik Estrada's style was mid-70s and 80s, right before it turned ugly, when everybody started wearing cowboy hats, like a Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah.
Right.
Tight jeans, members-only jacket, boots, made his ass look tight.
Wallabies.
Then later on, where did he live?
You're right. Now we're going specifically to Ponch's, the Tides and Water's Edge at Marina Harbor.
Yeah, it was a beach dude.
That's his apartment building, and that's where he lives. He moved in after selling his motorhome. Back to the dealer.
We're both right. Yeah, and the best is when they'd go out on a date, or they'd go out on a Saturday and go like hang gliding, and he'd be wearing dolphin shorts. Like they live the life. These
they're
two
in a cruise ship for some reason.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah.
Did they ever get on the Love Boat? As like
not as Ponch and John.
Right.
I'm sure every actor who worked popped up there at some point. And later on, he started doing commercials for like Everly Pines, do you want land? Right. It's only 14 hours away from Los Angeles, California, and they'd say you want acreage, and they'd show you pictures of beautiful lakes, and you could buy a lot there and build a home or something. It was impressive, all out of my bracket, but I remember those.
I remember I did my first TV show credit was on the Latino Laugh Festival in 1996, and they invited a bunch of Latinos to the show, and some comedians from who I didn't know was Latino, like John Mendoza from New York. He's like Puerto Rican and Irish.
Stand-up.
Yeah, stand-up, yeah. And who he was, and they invited Poncho Rallo, and he was there too, just hanging out as an MC.
Now,
like you
wearing
said,
a leather jacket.
He's Puerto Rican, right?
Yeah.
But the guy who then is getting the biggest paycheck ever in the Mexican sitcom, who doesn't speak any Spanish, do you look down at him for that?
I wasn't a fan of the show, but my mom watched it. Everybody watched it. They didn't care. They didn't know. Mm-hmm. This came out afterwards.
Oh, okay. All right. So let's talk about you for a while.
We did a tight half hour on Erik Estrada.
You owe me.
So, yeah, well, he's still alive. I mean, he ain't that old. He was...
He's on next week.
Yeah, that'd be great.
He's 73.
73? Damn.
He's bookable. I don't know if he's still in Los Angeles.
We saw him at the airport not that long ago.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Wait,
I
did we
saw
talk
him
to him?
I saw him at
No,
a
we
gift
didn't talk to him. We just saw him in one of the rooms.
Throwing bags?
A lot of hair still.
A lot of hair.
Brian, please.
Yeah.
I saw him one time also at one of those things where they give you a bunch of gifts. And you're supposed to grab a bunch of gifts from everybody. They give you like a big bag.
Like a gifting suite?
Yeah.
Gifting suite.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, man, he said yes to everything.
Good.
Like
I would
everything. Too. He should have was an assistant to carry his bags.
He would be the grand marshal of like the Hollywood
Rose
Christmas
Parade.
Parade, I think, and that kind of
I'd
stuff.
buy
He
that.
did a lot of grand marshaling. Felipe's got some live dates, by the way. Jacksonville, Florida, at the Comedy Zone. That's coming up August 11th through the 13th. Oxnard, California. Levity's Live. That's a great club. That's the 18th through the 21st. And you can go find dates at felipesworld.com. What Up Fool podcast. Where are you living?
I live in the Valley by Mission Hills and Granada Hills, San Fernando.
Mm-hmm.
Local boy.
Yeah. You liking it? It's too
It's
hot.
hot.
Too hot.
Yeah, I like it.
I can't remember. So here, if you live in Malibu or Santa Monica or, by the beach, it's 20 degrees, 25 degrees cooler. Like it is just that much cooler. But then I'm thinking about like Baja and Ensenada and Rosarita and that kind of stuff. I don't remember that's right on the water, and it's the same ocean. And, as the crow flies, it's just 100 miles away. But I remember it being pretty fucking hot out there, but I can't remember. I slept on the beach, but I was drunk.
I always felt hot, man. Even growing up, like I don't remember ever having AC in my elementary school. But I remember it was so fucking hot. But where I live now, it gets to 120.
That's brutal.
It's brutal.
I was like, damn, man.
Did you ever have really shitty hot jobs?
Yes, man. I used to work for a place that competes with UPS and Federal Express. It's called RPS. And all I did was be inside of a truck, unloading it while it was 100 degrees outside and it's dusty. Oh. And I would sniff dust. I had no mask. And I would just remember just sliding boxes all day. And that was the fucking hottest. Also, when I was in rehab, we had to clear out so that this old lady's 5 acres of grass. And I never wear sunscreen ever. So we were out there with no t-shirt and we all got burned.
I'd like to know more about that experience.
Why'd you have to clear out the grass when you were in rehab?
Because the lady she was like one of the ladies from the church. She had nobody to do it, so we did it.
You were clearing brush, like for fire season.
Yeah.
Ugh. That's a bad
we were
gig.
there like all day, 8 hours, from
you guys ever
sun up to sundown.
That doesn't sound like passages.
Going on in the hills, So
brush clearing?
Yeah, brush clearing. So not only is it's like all that stuff's got to be cleared by July 15th. So everyone's up there on July 13th with weed whackers. It's hotter than fucking Hades. And you have to climb the side of a dirt hill to do it. And there's this thing when it's really hot, when you work jobs. So they're jobs where it's really hot. It could be hot at a public pool and your job could be lifeguard, but you get to wear swim trunks and sit under an umbrella. Then there's jobs like brush clearing, which you can't do in flip-flops and Estrada Speedo. You have to wear jeans and boots and shit and sometimes a mask and a shield and all that shit. So not only is it fucking hot outside, but you got to layer up. Otherwise, you're going to get cut up or dinged up. You got gloves, a long sleeve shirt. You got the weed whacker.
Rocks, deer ticks.
Kicking the exhaust out of there. And so it may be, there's they do that heat index thing. And they go, with humidity, it feels like, how about with a full long sleeve denim shirt, jeans, boots, gloves, a fucking helmet?
All heat is not created equal.
Yes. And then you get the dust factor.
And if you're goth, you're sweating even more.
Oh yeah.
Oh. I had to demo out a handball court wall in the deep valley in the middle of the summer when I was working construction. Remember when people would play, what wasn't handball? Racquetball.
Yeah.
They wanted to tear down the wall in between the two courts. They were cinder block all the way up with clad and really thick particle board. We had to jack that whole thing out of there. The worst is when they go, we can't have any dust getting into the rest of the club or into the warehouse or into the warehouse, so we got to tent it off. Mm-hmm. They fucking tent it off, and then you go inside of it, and then you fire up a jackhammer, which is fired. It's fired up by a compressor and it shoots air. It goes and then it belches air. Fucking cement dust everywhere.
Weren't you up at the ceiling or something?
We're on a scaffolding on the ceiling because you had to start at the top of the wall. I was laying down on scaffolding trying to work a jackhammer. It's the only job where after about 5 days I was like, I'm leaving.
Yeah, man. I'd rather be the guy that rents out the scaffolds.
Oh, yeah. It's a much better job. Yeah, I should have told him. All right. You want to hang out and do some news with us, Felipe?
I'm down.
All right. First, let me hit Freshly here. Summer's here. Spend more time outside and less time in the kitchen where it's hot, everyone. Freshly's new lineup. Well, it's effortless. They have in-season meals, gives you more time to enjoy your summer. Don't resort to takeout and save time on meal prep. With Freshly, you're not stuck with the fast food or the frozen dinners when you want a quick meal. Designed by nutritionists, prepared by chefs, delivered right to your door. It's a great menu, especially if you want to eat healthy. You can just go online, pick your favorite offering, skip the groceries and the shopping and the dirty dishes. Your meals arrive cooked and fresh every week. New meals are added weekly. Check it out at Freshly, right, Dawson?
Make summer dinners stress-free with Freshly. Right now, you can get $125 off your first 5 orders at freshly.com/ACS. That's $125 off at freshly.com/ACS.
We would get our hair cut in Tijuana.
Why?
Soaking in the culture, saving $4.
Sure. How was the haircut?
Don't
They asked
remember.
Straight around. On the
Got
back?
to pay for.
Seemed fine.
Free and worth every penny.
Yeah.
Had a lap dance and a shoe shine at the same time.
What?
Whoa.
Wow.
I had to get 2 lap dances because I had another shoe to get clean. You know, when they do it real good too. They add a little voice to it, so it sounds like he's going fast. He goes.
You guys ever get a shoe shine at like an airport
No.
or something like that?
I always thought, it might sound sexist, but I always thought a good ass shoe shine job would be if you get women with cleavage, and then when they're down there,
Oh,
I
yeah.
miss my
they
calling.
can make money, man.
Oh,
shoe
yeah.
shine lady.
Yeah. As soon as they're done, you mess them up again. All right. All right, we'll take a quick break, come back with Felipe and the news right after this.
Give me the news with Grad. News with Gina Grad. Breaking, viral, weird crime, protest, politics. Give me news with Gina Grad. Stuff they saw on TMZ. Joe Biden, Kamala. Meet news with Gina Grad.
The news with Gina Grad.
Speaking of Kamala, I actually wasn't going to get into this because there's so much history to it. It's so complicated. But we did just have an example of something that I really didn't think happened, an actual tiebreaker. With
Yeah.
the 50-50 with this. It was the Build Back Better Act, and they changed it to the Inflation Reduction Act, I think. But
Yeah.
it was 50-50, and she
She
said,
broke it.
I'm the tiebreaker. So that was kind of interesting. We can get into that another time. But federal agents have carried out an unannounced search warrant on former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence. That happened on Monday, according to a statement released by Trump. Sources indicated the raid was related to allegations that he improperly took a couple of classified documents with him from the White House to his Florida residence. So according to the reports, officials from the National Archives and Records Administration notified Congress in February they had retrieved 15 boxes of documents from Trump's Florida residence, among which were some classified materials, and believe there's probably more remaining out there. Trump called the search politically motivated, even though he appointed the FBI director, Chris Wray, he's in charge of this.
Yeah, we'll see how this works out. See, here's the problem. The problem is everyone on the left is going, well, this is what happens. You try to steal documents, and this is a perfectly legitimate raid. And then everyone on the right's going, yeah, but the FBI hates Trump because 15 minutes ago, and this is the problem. It's what happened with Fauci. It's what sort of happened with the CDC. It's what happened with COVID, which is if the same people, and I'm not saying it's legitimate or illegitimate because I don't know, but here's the problem. The problem is 10 minutes ago, when these guys were all over the news saying Hunter Biden's laptop is a fake, and I'll put my reputation on it, and 51 experts from the FBI and that apparatus all sign a document saying that is fake and it smells of Russian collusion. Now I see that same person on Rachel Maddow's show going, this is totally legitimate. These guys said everything. I'm going to go, I don't know if I believe you anymore because I caught you saying a few other things a few other times. It seems like you were talking about Russian collusion for 3 years. You were the same guy who was banging that drum. So now everyone on the right is going, I don't believe these guys because they put a hit on Trump years ago and they've always had it out for him.
But this seems more provable. They either will or won't.
It'll be provable, but everyone has
documents.
one eyebrow raised now because of their history.
But the guy leading the charge is Trump's appointed director. If he's got to go get the papers.
Oh, many people Trump has
you.
appointed has definitely gone south.
They want
on
those
Trump.
papers,
That's
man.
true.
I know of a story of a comedian, a well-known comedian. He was there while George W. Bush was speaking. He was there probably at a correspondent dinner hanging out. And George W. was just drawing like the way you're drawing circles on your paper, doodling your paper probably. And everybody was left. He thought he was slick. He would have grabbed that paper, thought he could have a memorabilia. Man, he didn't make it out the building. He was attacked.
Wow. Really?
They said, give us that paper.
Wow.
Give us that paper.
That's amazing.
And the fact that they knew where to find that paper, like they went straight to that. They said they went to a safe. Man, somebody's talking.
Yeah.
What could it be? What's in that safe?
I got to find out.
We're going to find out.
Rachel will be all over it. She'll let us know.
I'm poised. I was poised for a long time. So here's what Trump is saying, and here's what kind of's happening is the FBI, they have multiple cases they could be working on.
Right.
The Hunter Biden laptop thing, which has big implications, they've been kind of slow rolling that one. They're not that interested in that. They're intensely interested in Trump and Mar-a-Lago and January 6th and all that kind of stuff. So people are sort of going, well, wait a minute. How independent are you if you seem very vigorous about certain things and not so vigorous about other things? So it's dubious, but then we'll see because we don't know.
Yeah.
It's like if you say it doesn't mean they're not right and it doesn't mean he's not wrong. It just means it's like if the CDC told me to do something now, they could be 100% right, but I'd still have one eyebrow raised going, really? Because you guys said a lot of stuff in the past. So that's where I'm at.
I have a question. If military cops are overwhelmingly conservative, which they are, that's not debatable, why would the FBI not be? They're federal cops.
They always say that the rank and file guys are, but the leaders aren't. The guys who are shot calling aren't. The guys on the ground are probably more conservative and more Republican, but the folks calling the shots are not.
I buy it.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Alex Jones. So I can explain a little bit more if there's any clarification needed because I just listened to a news story about it. But he must pay over $45 million in punitive damages for claiming the 2012 Sandy Hook massacre was a hoax. The payout would add to his $4 million in compensatory damages announced Thursday, and that's literally for the wife and husband's lawyer fees and things like that. That's the compensatory.
I don't know how unprecedented this is, but it might be.
Well, this is the first of three. So this couple, who are the parents of Jesse Lewis, who was a 6-year-old that was shot that day, the lawyers asked for $150 million, and they have $45 million. So Jones' lawyers plan to appeal the decision after incriminating cell phone data, as we talked about earlier, not meant for the case, was presented to the jury. That's when, as Alex Jones calls it, he had his Perry Mason moment.
Oh,
when all of these,
yeah.
Do these texts look familiar? Because your attorney sent them to me by accident, and nobody said anything about this being privileged information. So you've been lying to me this whole time. Blah 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 blah.
Gargos was apoplectic about this.
Did he have thoughts?
He had a million thoughts.
Like what?
Also,
trying to remember. One of the things is at some point the attorney was saying, "Do you know the definition of perjury?"
No.
Good, Alex Jones.
He said, Garrett's like, you don't, that's objection. You can't say that.
It's the truth, as I know it.
He was saying Alex Jones's attorney should have
said
stood up
objection, yeah.
right then and it's like, you can't do that.
I'm getting the sense they're not good attorneys.
Yes, I think that may be it.
They did a little whoopsie with the text. So as far as I understand, and then, he keeps yelling bankruptcy, bankruptcy. I don't have any money left to give. And now they're funneling, allegedly, there's funneling assets into shell companies and trying to limit what's available to pay out.
Now, these fake companies are companies that actually sell shells.
They sell shells.
In pasta form? Or?
No, like seashells.
That's
a common
ashtrays,
mistake.
things of that nature.
Molds.
A lot of decoupage.
Picture frames if you live by the beach.
Yeah, exactly.
That's big business.
That's right.
Cheese spreaders.
Yes. I think I bought a few of those when I was leaving Tijuana.
That's
It was pretty
right.
late, though. I can't remember.
So it is sort of unprecedented because this is setting the precedent for the next two couples, the next two mother and fathers that are in line behind these two to say, now where's our damages for what you've done?
It also is going to kind of open the door to any podcaster, radio show host, or whoever who talks shit.
Alex Jones's lawyer are really good. They're top of the class.
What I'm saying is what if I talked so much shit about DJ Khaled and then he killed himself one day and then they started playing the tapes?
The Khaled family comes after you?
That's right. Yeah, anything's possible.
You better hope Villaraigosa goes on for years.
Yes, I got deep pocket, just one of them, but they're coming after me.
Well, and then this is, it's good, bad, believe in Alex, don't believe in Alex. Let's just talk tacky. When the mom got on the stand to talk about, what this has done to their lives, having this man, sort of release the hounds on these people who are trying to grieve their son, saying, you're a crisis actor, this didn't happen, you're just trying to take our guns away, fuck you, I'm going to kill you, this whole thing. And they wanted their moment to be able to speak directly to him, but instead he was back at his studio streaming the feed for his audience, like making fun of them and calling them performers and, her performance, I don't know if I'm believing it.
Is he allowed to do that? Like, just not
it was
that?
streamed. It was streamed. So good for her because she was supposed to be wrapped. Then they're taking a lunch break. Then Alex comes in for his whatever you call it, deposition, or he's on the stand, whatever. But the mom stayed and said, I'm not done, and finally got to address him.
Now, how does he
trying to wipe me out, Adam?
They are. You want to do Mexican Alex Jones, Alexi Jones,
Alejandro
Jones?
No me entiende la gente. Yo no dije nada.
So what do you think, Alejandro Jones? Did we ever really land on the moon?
Nunca pasó.
No, we didn't.
Lo pasó en Warner Brothers.
Oh, we filmed it on a soundstage. So that was all cooked.
Edward James almost directed it.
Who? Ivan Reitman?
Ivan Reitman.
Okay. So, all right. Now, the Loch Ness Monster. Is that real?
Sí.
Okay. And then what?
Echo Park.
Echo Park. And then what?
Echo Park Lake?
What? Oh, Echo Park Lake is where the
Lake
real,
Ness Monster.
The Lake Ness Monster is. Alejandro Jones?
Se come cholos todas las noches.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I didn't get that last part, but
he feeds off cholos every night.
Oh, okay. He eats off cholos or at the park. What about Sasquatch, Bigfoot?
We live in Berkeley.
Oh, he lives in Berkeley?
He's in Berkeley? He's up north? Bigfoot, what's his Spanish name? It's a Grande...
El hombre negro.
What is it?
El hombre largo.
Yeah. Oh, that's Bigfoot?
Yeah.
Limpio largo.
I'm guessing Sasquatch is just Sasquatch. You don't put your own flavor on that one, do you?
Sasquatcho.
How do you translate the abominable snowman?
Yeah, the abominable snowman.
Oh, okay.
I would have to know how to say abominable in Spanish.
Hey, Mexican Alex Jones. That I don't know, what is it, Korean airline flights that got lost at sea? Remember that? They still never
lost communication.
Never
found it again.
It got lost with my passport.
It's in. Oh, so they're gonna find it at some point. You're gonna call from the airport.
It was up there with Hillary's tapes.
Oh, Hillary's tapes.
Hillary's
from that plane.
tapes.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Folding it all in.
That's why they got rid of the plane.
It's obvious.
All right.
That's very good. Well, we haven't talked about this, and it's really sad and a little confusing. Anne Heche is still in a coma as we read this following her fiery car crash on Friday. It was kind of a double car crash.
It was in Mar Vista, down the street from me.
Down the street from Erik Estrada.
Yeah, it was I mean, I saw the whole thing on TMZ.
Well, and we're gonna put up a few pictures as I talk about it. But Heche was still in critical condition on Sunday. You can go ahead and put up the pictures. Following 2 wild car accidents. One, she crashed into the garage of an apartment complex in West LA. That's according to TMZ. Residents tried to help her out of the car, but she put it in reverse and sped off. Soon after, she slammed into a house, igniting a fire that engulfed the home, according to TMZ. And you can show the other picture of the car. That's her car, her Mini Cooper. It was blue before this. I mean, it looks completely charred.
Right.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of, in movies, the cars catch on fire all the time, but in real life, they don't do it so much anymore.
They don't explode.
No.
They've worked out. The fuel tank is in the back.
Right?
Yeah.
No, they don't have a bladder, even though they should. That was one of my
race cars.
Paul Walker, when I had Garrigus in here like 5 years ago, I think he was working on the Paul Walker case where they're in a Porsche GT and his friend took it out and went for a hot lap in a parking lot, lost control, hit a tree. It's a rear mid-engine car, so the engine's behind where you sit.
Okay.
It's either they don't put the engine and the fuel in the same place.
Makes sense.
It's a lot of it's just about weight. If you're going to have this much weight in the front, then you put that in the back. And then in my Porsche race car, the engine's in the back, the fuel tank's in the front. That one has a fuel cell with the bladder.
Right. But not a Mini Cooper.
Not in a Mini Cooper and not in a Porsche GT, which is a $1 million supercar. And so when they hit the tree, Paul Walker and his buddy, the thing blew up like a tin can, and they were showered with fuel, and it ignited, and they burnt alive in the car. I said to Garrigus, hey, if you're Porsche, because they're going after Porsche, and you're selling a supercar, it's essentially race car for the street, it should have a fuel cell.
Yeah.
All race cars have fuel cells. It's a safety thing because the car's so big and powerful and blah, blah, blah. So she hits this garage, and she backs out, then she speeds down an alley. Then she hits a house, and the car bursts into flames. But the thing that's weird is the fuel is at the bottom in the back of a car. She's got the Mini Cooper like Clubman. It's kind of long.
That's a dirty-ass house. It's probably a meth house.
And
she probably broke into the lab.
She hit something like a gas pipeline or something, because you bang into the side of a house with the front of your car. It's not
Nothing's going to be
flame-inducing.
set on fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, according to the release, it took 59 firefighters over an hour to extinguish the flame and get her out of the car. So this is a big deal.
Then she got out of the car. She'd been burned and everything,
She's
but she
trying
was
to get out of the
struggling with the paramedics.
Yes. Right.
So they brought her. She was conscious and
at the time, yeah,
and moving around. So she must be in a medically induced coma.
I was thinking about that because we've talked about that in the past. We talked about that with Luke Perry. We talked about that, I believe, with maybe John Singleton.
Something,
but
like
that we talk about with Dr. Drew that you're better off, all things considered, you're better off in a coma that you just slip into as opposed to a medically induced coma.
I can't recall, but yeah, I'm anyway.
Well,
they also, I think, when they're working on burn victims, they might.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, the LAPD had obtained a warrant to test her blood to determine, what the vibe was. Was there an influence of something? It looked like, and you might have seen this on TMZ. There was a little circle around it, but I couldn't tell what was inside of it. I think they were alleging that there was a little mini booze bottle in the glove compartment.
It looked like a little pint of Kamchatka or something, vodka. The red cap with the little clear bottle.
She wake up at somebody's house back in the days, all loaded too.
Yes.
She's an incident, yeah.
She climbed into someone's house, I think.
She's really nice.
Was that Robert Downey Jr.? Yeah, she's been on the show.
She's super nice.
She's sweet. I think she has definitely has issues, and maybe the substance.
Well, the interesting thing,
got the better of her.
I don't know how impactful this is, but it says if she could be charged with a misdemeanor DUI hit and run. That seems good. Right? If you set two, houses on fire and caused all this chaos, a misdemeanor seems like a
Yeah,
decent.
I don't know. I just all I remember is I was looking at the front. If you show the front of her charred car, because I was watching it on TMZ, and I was like, oh man, that little Mini Cooper. And then they showed her speeding down the alley
and almost hit somebody in the alley.
Yeah, a woman was walking wearing a red shirt, so she was very identifiable.
Yeah.
She like sped right past her. But when they showed the front of the charred car, I was like, oh, Mini Cooper. And then I saw this slit kind of air intake that's on the front hood, and I was like, oh, she got the supercharged one. Good for
cool.
her.
Yeah,
I'm a
she's
car
earned
guy.
it.
I like Ann, but we wish her well.
Yeah.
She's
And no one was hurt at the house, by the way, and they're animals and pets, and so nobody was hurt. From what I
still
understand.
so curious. Sometimes there's a gas pipe that comes up in the front. I'm just curious where the flames, big flame.
That car looks like something off of a movie set. I mean, it doesn't even look like a car anymore.
Yeah, and it burned inside the house, but it wasn't like the back of the car.
Yeah.
My
Oh,
water
anyway.
heater's in the garage. Could be the same. It's in this neighborhood, more or less. So could have built it that way.
Well, we'll keep an eye on that. From the irony desk, I don't know how else to explain this. The city of Cleveland is hosting the National Massage Therapist Convention at the end of August.
Oh, no.
You're ahead of me,
Deshaun
Brian.
Watson.
Yeah, that's a few weeks after Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson was given just a 6-game suspension for repeated sexual misconduct involving massage therapists, and they're all coming to town. The NFL is appealing the suspension handed down by the judge and is hoping for a lengthier punishment. Remember I said that earlier? I was like, they want more than the judge wants.
I think it's all about optics now.
Yeah.
They've gotten burned a bunch of times for kind of looking the other way, especially things that involve their players and women, and now they're going to double down on it.
Well,
Felipe,
especially-
they say black and brown community. I think when they say brown, they mean Hispanic
maybe.
Or Indians.
This team is called the Browns. Is that offensive to you?
The Cleveland Browns?
Yeah.
It's
the
offensive
black and
to-
brown community.
It's offensive to Pittsburgh Steelers fans.
But it's
True.
not to you and your ilk.
Yeah, because I never know much about the Browns. Their mascot was a dog, right?
The dog pound, yeah. It's kind
The
of like
dog
their
pound,
de
yeah.
facto.
Brown, like a mutt or what?
It was a bulldog.
Well,
kinda
Brown was
looking
the
thing.
name of the owner of the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait a second. They
Paul
have the
Brown.
dog pound?
Yeah, they have dog
Is that why
pound.
Arsenio had the dog pound? Because he's from Cleveland.
That's right. Here from Cleveland.
just thought about
I
that.
never put it together.
Where have
Yeah.
you people been? I didn't even know
didn't
it was
know
called the
that.
dog
I don't know.
pound.
I know Drew Carey's sitcom started with a song called Cleveland Rocks.
No.
That was 70s show.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or-
That's that 70s show?
Or that they had another spin on a Cleveland song. Yeah, the hanging out.
Yeah, we're all right. We're all.
Oh, that's not the Drew Carey show?
Oh, how does that? Maybe we don't know.
Maybe
the
I'm
theme
mixing
for
up
that.
the two very
Because
similar.
they both take place.
The one I was
song.
singing was done by Cheap Trick.
Really?
I'm not.
This show has gone off the rails.
All right, we need the opening to the Drew Carey sitcom.
I think you're right. I think,
I think
you're
you
right.
are right, actually.
Yeah, Drew Carey's show is a spin-off of another show.
It was?
Yeah, of
Oh, wait a minute.
I can't think of the comedian's name.
That's while you think of that. The 70s show was Wisconsin.
Oh.
Wisconsin. We love Wisconsin, they say.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, that's right. God
At the
damn
end,
it. Ruining
How'd you
everything.
guys get on the same wrong page so fast? Oh,
Sorry.
here he is.
Nah, you're right. And the 70s show had a similar ending where it's like, hello, Wisconsin, or
Yeah,
something.
we love you, Wisconsin,
Yeah,
something like that.
something.
So the massage
Convention.
therapists are coming. Now, the organization, the massage therapist organization, is not happy with the Browns.
No happy ending?
No, not happy
Come
with the quarterback's behavior or the length of suspension. This is what they say. AMTA, American Massage Therapist Association, I'm guessing, strongly believes that any client who steps over the line to inappropriate touch should face legal consequences. And it's so disappointing to see such a relatively light punishment from the NFL levied toward Deshaun Watson in their findings of his violation of the league's personal conduct policy. But like we just said, it's not the NFL. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah.
come on.
Now, what do you think? That's a good convention, like if you're just in the hotel as well.
Oh, sure.
You know what
yeah.
I mean? Like, I'll tell you
Need a
that.
volunteer.
Have you guys traveled around and been in a hotel when something was going on? I keep running into the marathoners They're the worst.
Oh, God,
they're the
up
fucking worst. First off,
at the hotel?
Yeah, if you got to spot
man.
them when you're buzzed,
Yeah.
coming down, catching the flight or whatever, and they're all stretching.
You're
out
going
there.
to bed. They're going to run.
Yes,
I had
yes.
a boring. There was two of them in my hotel. One was the Shakespeare convention.
Oh, I would have loved that.
And it was all Shakespeare. I mean, every genre of Shakespeare. They even had a side one for the other people, gay spear.
Ren
To
Bear
suck or
dorks.
not to suck, that is a dilemma.
Oh
But
good.
there was a
Rape
gay
your wit.
spear and there was a lesbian spear, but it was all Shakespeare. Then I was at one when I was doing a show in Colorado for 4 days. Nothing but they were having the scrapbook convention.
What?
Nothing but older ladies.
Yeah.
Older ladies and a couple of ex-cons who are still hanging on to grandma.
Right.
And they pick up on ladies, but it was all
Patchwork denim, long gray hair.
people named Blanche
Yeah.
and Gertrude.
Yeah.
Another one I was on was
Blanche.
even more, was an interesting one. It was like a farming convention where they're selling seeds and animal products. And it was a bunch of fucking farmers, man.
Bunch of fucking
That makes
farmers.
sense. That checks out.
I saw I
Seeds.
ran into a bunch of Amish people that use electricity.
Wow.
They're called Mennonites.
Yeah, Mennonites,
Uh-huh.
sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
I like the facial hair on the Mennonites.
Man.
Kind of
talk
LeBron
about-
James-ish.
Man, people say, man, like, what kind of woman you want, man? I want a woman like a Mennonite. Have that woman on check. Man, these Mennonites, man, they have those ladies on check, man.
How?
Like this guy sitting down with his, man spreading with his long beard, and his wife goes over there and fills up 2 bottled waters with fucking free water.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
And then she gets ice and makes him a
Wow.
big cup.
Yeah.
And he's talking to me, and he just hands it over to him like that. He just grabs it, starts drinking
Don't
it.
even acknowledge
Don't
it.
even say thanks. She know her place.
I was.
Wait a minute, Knight.
I was my daughter's Mennonite bitch over the weekend. So you guys tell me in what universe that your parents would have ever done this for you, right? So she's playing volleyball for 14 hours in Irvine, and I told you guys that we're inside this giant venue with no air conditioning. It's 102 degrees outside. And all it is, it's like it would have been hotter and fucking the hubs of hell in there if you just sat alone in this empty place with no air conditioning. This is 2,000 16-year-old girls playing volleyball and 2,000 parents screaming as loud as
4,000
they
parents.
can, just banging the ball in the air and running around. It was like you ever walk by like there's like a jiu-jitsu dojo in my neighborhood, and if you go by there in the evening, it's fogged up.
waft.
There's too many guys sweating
Yes.
too hard and breathing too hard
Yes.
in too small an area, right? Well, this is that times 1,000. And at some point, my daughter gives me the look from the court because the kids were all sweating their asses off because it was so balmy in there and it was so hot. And never seen 16-year-old girls sweat like this, but it's all pouring down their face and everything. And at some point, my daughter spots me on the mini bleachers, gives me the point, points at the water bottle, and then dispatches me.
Oh, wow.
All finger work, you know what I mean?
Like the Navy
Mennonite
SEALs.
bitch I am. So I was like, oh, okay. So now you tell me. I had the water bottle in my hand, and I was like, oh, the line to wait to get the water can be a little long in the cafeteria. And I stand up, and one of the moms goes, they got the refill. They got the bottle refill
Yeah, great.
thing. It's over there.
Smart.
Use that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, that's free.
Yeah.
I was going to save a bottle. I'll just fill it up. Then I flash back 3 days earlier in the kitchen. I buy, I don't know what it is, whatever springs. I buy the best goddamn bottled water available for my family and for me at my house. And you know how it's good? Comes in a fucking glass bottle.
Yeah.
The giant bottle is glass.
Alkaline.
I got the best, most expensive glass bottle shit you can buy.
No carcinogens.
Bought it. I ran an old friend of mine who was from the Acme Theater. He's now like an ambassador for the company. Started talking to him. This is a few years ago. I was like, we make the best bottle. It's super expensive, but it's the best. So I go get it. And and that's the only bottled water we have at the house. Walk in the other day. This is 3 days earlier to being made the Mennonite bitch. Her and a friend are sitting there drinking water out of a plastic bottle. They still get the cases of the plastic bottle. I hate it. It's ugly American shit. It's all ending up in the ocean. Plus, you have the best water ever, the most expensive in a glass bottle, and everyone's talking about all these plastics. Not good with the plastics. Like, you have this, save the landfill, save some money, blah, blah, blah. My daughter goes, I don't like that water. I go, it's the best. It's the best. It's in a glass bottle. It's the best. I don't like the way it tastes.
Blind taste test.
Yeah.
I would immediately.
I said, you don't like the way it tastes. No. You like the bottled stuff from Ralph's better. Yeah. First off, this water just tastes, it's like the definition of water. It just tastes like liquid nothing, but it is great, and it's in a glass bottle.
It's from a stream.
From a stream. And
Pope blessed it.
An Indian went and retrieved it. And so I said, oh, okay. All right. So I go get 2 of the same tumblers. I said, turn around. Put the bottled water in there, then go get the glass stuff that I pay for, mix it up, plant it down on the table. I go, are you tell me which one is that bottle and which one is that bottle? She's like, okay. Takes a sip off one. Doesn't even go to the other. Goes, this one's a plastic bottle. This one. And she takes the other one. Yeah, that's from that one. I go, okay, you could have got lucky.
Yeah.
You could have got lucky. 50-50 chance. Turn around again. Fucking nailed it the second time. The taste between the different, they both just taste like pure water. Yeah. Boom. No lemon zest, no nothing. Boom. So now I'm walking to the bottle refill going, oh shit, I'm going to get busted. She's going to know the shit came from the wall.
She's got you on your heels.
Wow.
Yeah, so,
well water, wall water. Very big difference.
I go out to the lobby, go to the vending machine that's got the cold Dasani in there and start feeding the crumpled up singles into it.
Really?
If
she won't be in a position to complain about it.
If I hadn't been busted 3 days earlier, she's like one of those dogs at the airport, except for water.
Yeah.
No human could do this. But
You're
she
Brittany
could do
Griner with the hashish.
Yeah. That's Mennonite bitch material right there, right?
You trained.
She didn't even talk to me. She just pointed at me, pointed at the bottle, did that.
You know what?
I was
you were on your horse.
That means you're a good dad. Because she wasn't like she didn't end up in the hospital. Oh, I was afraid to ask him for water. Nope. Dad'll hydrate. Get it done, Dad.
Yeah.
Wall water.
That's good.
Better than well water.
That's right.
Obviously.
That's right. And it's free.
In Irvine.
No.
Of course. Yeah. So Mennonite dad bitch. All right. Let's bring it home.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
Come on. Let's fuck our friends' husbands.
Gina Grad.
That was the news with Gina Grad.
Last but not least, there's the Jordan Harbinger Show, a different kind of sponsor for this episode. The Jordan Harbinger Show is, if you're a fan of fascinating podcasts with interesting guests, you're definitely going to want to check out Jordan's show. Jordan's an interesting guy. I've had him on a few times, and he speaks a bunch of languages, travel. I think he's been kidnapped a few times. Yeah, not funny at the time, but, with the passage of time, we can laugh. New episodes, we'll have guys like Jordan talking to Scott Adams on the art of persuasion in a world where facts don't matter, or you can go inside the dark world of wildlife trafficking. You'll always find something useful to apply to your own life, like little routine changes to boost productivity, slight mindset tweaks to change how you see the world. It is the Jordan Harbinger Show. It's HARB as in boy, IN as in Nancy, GER, and you can, Spotify podcast, wherever you listen to finer podcasts. All right, let's see. I'm going to be in Salt Lake City at Wise Guys coming up August 26th and 27th. Felipe Esparza is doing some clubs as well. Jacksonville, Florida, Comedy Zone.
Yeah.
August 11th. That's coming up through the 13th. Oxnard, California, Levity Live. That's August 18th through the 21st. And go to felipesworld.com to find out all the live dates and the podcast and everything. Always good to see you again, my friend.
Thanks for having me, Adam Carolla. What's up, fool? Can I mention my friend's show? It's on Hulu. It's going to come out on, I think, August 12th. Erik Estrada had the show. This fool with Frankie Quinones and Michelle Ortiz.
I'm seeing odds for that. That's a big deal.
And Fabian Alomar, they're all. They hired nothing but real cholos for this show.
Oh, yeah.
And 7th and Union, which is streaming now on Amazon Prime. Rob Schneider in tomorrow. And until next time, it's Adam Carolla for
I'm in the mood with him, too.
Oh, and Felipe Esparza and Bo Bryan say it. Mahalo. If I was Tex, I would have done the scene from Goodfellas where they were going to kill what's his name that night.
Maury.
Yeah.
Maury's wigs.
Yeah, and just kind of.
Tonight, it's off.
Yeah, we're playing cards. We're having a drink. We're having a good time. Just knock it off.
Yeah.
But kick that fucking can down the road. There's so many more runaways to bang.